Hey guys, I'm Lorentz from iWood Cosplay, and today I'm going to show you guys how I made Aizawa's goggles.
So I'm going to start with this piece of the pattern first. I'll have a link to these patterns in the description down below. So I'm going to cut the pattern out and transfer it over to a 6mm piece of foam. And I'll do that by pinning and tracing like so. For these pieces, I'm going to cut it out with a bevel cutter. The one I'm using here is a 3D print. I'll have a link to that in the description as well. If you don't have access to a 3D printer, not to worry. Cosplay Craft also sells a bevel cutter. I'll have that in the description as well. Putting pressure on the angle side of this tool allows you to create consistent beveled edges. On the non-beveled side of this pattern, I'm using a normal utility knife, and that's how you make that one piece. Now I just have to do that 3 more times, making a total of 4 pieces. Here I'm trying to show you the beveled edges, but the camera didn't pick it up really well. So now that I have my 4 pieces done, the next piece I will cut is this piece. So the 2 darts present on this pattern should be cut out on the pattern, but not on the foam. They're used to make the valley, which I will show you later on. Here I just finished cutting out the windows, once again transferring the pattern onto foam, and then using my bevel cutter on all edges of this piece. Here are the 2 goggle pieces, both with beveled edges. Now to make that valley I was talking about earlier. To do that, I'm going to line up the pattern with the foam, and then flip it over on the other side. Mark the registration marks. In order to make a valley, we need to make a bevel cut along the side of the line, and not cut all the way through. I'm going to decrease the blade length. If you made the valley correctly, you should be able to make a fold like so. Here's the back of the foam piece where you can see the valley I just made. Now that I have valleys on both of these goggle pieces, it's time to cut out the windows. Cutting out inner details such as this will be a challenge even for me, so just take your time with this. So I believe after 20 minutes, I have both of the windows removed from these goggle pieces. Now the last thing we need to cut out are the side details. Here I'm labeling the pattern so that I don't mess up the order when I transfer them onto the foam. The first transfer is on a 6mm piece of foam. I'm going to do that twice for the left and the right. Once I have all the pieces cut out and lined up properly, I'm going to line up the elastic band I'm going to be using and mark that on the back of the foam pieces. I'm going to grab my 2mm piece of foam. I'm going to use super glue to attach the 6mm foam, avoiding the region where the elastic band is. Here are the pieces super glued on the 2mm foam. All I have to do now is cut them out. And like so, you should have something that looks like this, with a gap for the elastic band. Here are all the pieces you need for Aizawa's goggles, and now we're ready to assemble. I'm going to start off by heat sealing my foam with a heat gun. Now I'm going to apply the contact cement to all these edges. I recommend applying just a little bit of contact cement, and then coming back for a second round. Let them sit for about a minute or 2. Once the edges are still tacky, but not wet, you're ready to put the pieces together. I'm going to start with these 2 pieces. Here I'm starting at the tip, and slowly and carefully work my way all the way through the seam. I spilled some contact cement on my fingers earlier, so the assembly was a little harder than it needed to be. Now I have to do the same thing for the bottom. And there you have it, 1 piece of the goggle. Do that for the other piece and you should have something like this. And if there's any excess foam, like mine, feel free to improvise and trim them off. Your edges should be smooth like this. Congratulations, the hardest part of this build is now done. Now it's time to cut out that nose section. It's pretty self-explanatory. Position it accordingly and attach it with some super glue. And there you have it. So here I've already plasti dipped the foam and spray painted it gold. For the strapping method, I'm going to use a slide buckle like the one you see here. Using a hot glue gun, I'm going to attach the elastic band to the goggles like so. Attach the elastic band and hold it for a good 5 seconds. Reinforce the elastic with some more hot glue on the back. This will help keep the elastic attached if it experiences any sweat or heat. Here's the goggles with both the elastic bands attached. Remember to only attach the side buckle once you've attached all the side details. So the slit we made earlier should fit into the elastic band with no problem. Once I have all the detail pieces on one side, I can now attach the slide buckle. If you made any creases when sliding on the details, you can undo the crease by hitting it with a heat gun. And that's it for Aizawa's goggles.
Overall, I had a really good time building this. It was really fun and simple. If you guys build this, make sure you tag me on Instagram. I'd love to see you guys' work. If you're new here and you want to see more of my content, make sure you subscribe. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.